Hi, I'm Chelsea from Red Shark, and today I'm going to show you another way to make a seamless background pattern in Adobe Illustrator. If you want to follow along with this, you can go and read our blog and download the Illustrator file. So I'm going to show you another option on how to make a seamless background pattern in Illustrator. We've done one before, and you can go watch that video if you haven't seen it yet, but it's just a different way to do it. It's not necessarily any easier, it just depends on how you kind of visualize your pattern. So this way kind of lets you work with the pattern a little bit more, looking at it as a whole as opposed to working on just the one swatch and then applying it afterwards. So here we're going to import our vectors and our colors in here. You can make your own inside Illustrator, or if you download this file you'll have access to these vectors and colors I've already made. We're going to just start by dragging them around randomly, and it really doesn't matter where you put them, but the difference between this and our other way of making a background pattern is don't let any of these objects cross the border. They all have to stay contained within this square until we start actually making the pattern. So I'm just going to leave it like this for now. You can, clutter this up as much as you want, but I'm just going to go ahead and edit that later. So I do have a background swatch on here, and you can leave the pattern transparent or put a background on, but if you're putting a background color here, just make sure it's fitting this artboard exactly. So I'm going to group all of this together, so object group, and then now that we've done that, we're just going to select the whole thing, object, pattern, and we're going to make our pattern. So now we're going to come in here, and this is where we start editing it. So we're going to make sure that the tile type is set to grid, and you can hit the size tile to art if it didn't pull up exactly right, but as long as your width and height are set to the same dimensions as your the same pixel dimensions as your artboard, it generally works pretty well. So, and you can do copies, either 5x5 or 3x3 will work best for visualizing a pattern as a whole. So I'm going to pull this off to the side, and this is where we're going to start moving it around. So now that we're in here, it's offset, so you can pull the pieces off the edge now. So we're just going to repeat this and just kind of arrange them however you want. I'm just going to try to make them a little bit more random, change the rotation, the scale, and just make sure we have a lot of pieces coming off the edge. But see, now that we're doing this, we can see, instead of trying to visualize how it's going to hit on the other side of the pattern, we can see how it'll repeat. So that's one benefit of doing it this way as opposed to the way we did in our other tutorial. Might just move this, pull this over, and you really can arrange these however you want. I'm just going for a really random look, and I'm not going to spend as much time in this tutorial, but just work with it until you like how it looks. I'm gonna make this one a little bit bigger. I'm just gonna try to just make sure there's not any like huge gaps anywhere. So I might just put this one little piece all over. So we'll just leave that like this for now, and we're gonna go into this window is here. You can exit out of it or just go straight to here, and we're going to say done. So that's going to make our pattern. So it's going to bring us back to our original elements. But if we go into here, our new pattern swatch is going to be right here. We can grab whatever dimension we want, and it'll fill with that pattern. Subscribe and follow our Instagram for more tutorials, and join our newsletter to stay up to date on all things RSD.